Hey, what's up, people? This is Ike Love. I'm the creator and author of the blog, The Viable Alternative, which is an inspirational blog where I share the wisdom and insight gained along my path of becoming a greater, stronger version of myself. And if you want to read more about this wisdom and insight, you can go click under the description here under the window and click on www.theviablealternative.com. So now today, boys and girls, I like to talk about the good guy, the viable alternative between the nice guy and the bad boy / jerk. And I feel this needs to be addressed because there's a lot of women suffering in their dating lives because they don't know the good guy exists. They either run and vacillate between the nice guy or the bad boy / jerk / excuse my French, asshole. And dudes actually also miss out on great opportunities because they don't realize you can be a good guy. They also vacillate, think you can either be one or the other. And I'd like to preface this video blog with a story. And it goes back to 2012. I was involved with this woman, and this has to do with the very first conversation we had on the phone. And it was through this conversation, after this conversation, she said that I intrigued her enough that she decided to go out with me because before she was on the fence, and actually she was giving me a hard time up until that point. And yeah, I was involved with her for part of 2012. We're no longer together, but she actually literally is one of my dearest female friends, and I love her dearly. And as a matter of fact, I will be sending her a link to this video to go and watch because she'll remember this conversation, and also she'll just remember just how she gave me a hard time in the beginning. But anyway, so I was talking to her on the phone, and she told me a little bit about her past, like the previous year, because I was talking to her in January 2012. So it was the past year. I think it was like a year before, 6-7 months before. She had just ended it with this guy who was a quote unquote bad boy. And, she explained how he was a great dancer, great in the bed, but there was absolutely nothing else going on with him. And so eventually speaking, she had to let it go. And so now I'm talking to her, and she's quite jaded. And funny enough, I said to her, listen, you know what the problem with the problem woman is that typically speaking, you will go out with the bad boy, and he is venturous. He's exciting. He is confident, assertive, and everything, but he doesn't treat you right. And sooner or later, you wind up leaving him, and then you go out with the nice guy. And the nice guy treats you right and everything, but the problem is with the nice guy is that he's not assertive, and he lets you walk all over him. And eventually speaking, you've realized that you are not attracted to him because he's not really like masculine the way you want. And so then now you become jaded and think there's no good men out there. And I said to her, but listen, there is a guy out there who is called the good guy. And the good guy will treat you right, but if you disrespect him or try to walk all over him, he will kick you to the curb and move on without batting an eye. The good guy is the guy that will has his stuff together, his life together, and he's confident, assertive, has all the qualities of a bad boy, but he doesn't mistreat you. And that's the problem. You guys don't realize that exists, and that's why you have all this confusion and frustration going on there. And so it's funny, she said, yeah, that I guess it was part of this. She said she was intrigued by me, but funny enough, I think also she was intrigued by it because this is the exact mirror of her life. Like I said, she had dated this bad boy guy like the previous year, but before that, in her teens and her early 20s, she dated a lot of bad boys, and some of them who were very abusive and had all these issues. And then she got tired of that, so she decided to go find a nice guy, and wound up marrying him. But she said that very early in the marriage, she just said that she just lost attraction for him because basically the guy was clingy, needy, and basically wanted her to do everything for him. Like he wanted a mother. And basically speaking, she was looking for a man, and he wasn't it. And so basically speaking, after I think she was married for like 9-10 years, whatever, she left him and then found the bad boy. And now again, and the jadedness I had to deal with when I was talking to her on the phone, and she put me all through this stuff. But yeah, You wind up going out and from that conversation and dating for a bit. I just laugh because I just remember the whole episode of Saga. But anyway, so this brings to the dilemma in the world. Like, most people in dating, they know the nice guy. And who's the nice guy? The nice guy is a guy that, right, he's a guy that you call sweet. Oh, you're so sweet. By the way, I know anytime when a girl calls a guy sweet, it means she's not into him. It means he's friend zoned. And I cringe every time if I ever, in the past, when I get called sweet, and I'm always trying to correct the person, like, yo, I'm not sweet. I'm not trying to be your friend if I'm attracted to a woman. But anyway, so the nice guy is a guy who treats a woman right, listens to her problems, lets her cry on his shoulder, whatchamacall. He will answer a call at 3 a.m. in the morning to hear the girl, the love of his life, talk about the next guy who totally played her out. The nice guy is the guy that spends $200 on a dinner for a woman buys the finest wine, and at the end of the night gets a peck in the cheek. And on her way home, she proceeds to call the guy that she met at the bar last night, the bouncer who has like a teardrop as a tattoo on his face, who lives in a van, who proceeds to bang her out as soon as 20 minutes after the date is over, while the dude is texting her to see whether she got home safely. The nice guy is a guy that's constantly friend zoned. He's a nice guy. He's a guy that the girlfriend says, "Oh, you're so sweet. I hope you find a nice guy a nice girl one day. I want you to find a nice girlfriend. Meanwhile, the nice guy is dying because he really likes her." But again, here's the issue with the nice guy. The nice guy is just not assertive. He doesn't assert himself. He doesn't express his desires or his wishes. The nice guy also has no boundaries, so lets the woman walk all over him. He doesn't set boundaries for himself. The nice guy basically is the guy that a woman asks, "What do you want to do tonight?" He says, "No, honey, whatever you want to do." And if a woman, especially a woman who's high up on the corporate ladder and tells people what to do all day, she doesn't want to come home and have a guy now ask her what she wants to do. She wants a guy who basically sets things up, and so she can now come and trust him now to just go follow along. She trusts his masculinity, so she can now be a part of the plan that he sets. And I'm not being chauvinistic because women have told me this. Many women have told me this. Yeah, the nice guy is the guy that, basically speaking, he doesn't assert his wishes and desires in the sense that, like, if something is bothering him, he's so afraid of conflict, he doesn't speak up on it. He doesn't stand up for himself. And so, like I said, women just are not really attracted to him. But here's also the caveat of the nice guy. The nice guy, lo and behold, I don't think is really a nice guy. The nice guy is manipulative. Because the nice guy actually is nice because he's trying to get something from the woman. He doesn't assert himself or try and cause any conflict because he's afraid if he tries to have conflict with the woman, he will fears that he'll ruin his chances with her, or that she will leave him if he's dating her. The nice guy is basically has a hidden contract with the woman that the woman is not even aware of. He's like, "Oh, if I'm nice to you, do A, B, C, and I do A, B, C, and D for you, you're going to give me sex in return, or you're going to give me your undivided devotion in return." So the nice guy is manipulative. The nice guy has a hidden agenda. Many women who are intuitive, they can sometimes tell this. The nice guy is also needy and clingy. He has a scarcity mentality, and he's afraid that, like I said, that if he stands up for himself, the woman might leave him, instead of the fact that, if he stands up for himself, not even that, the woman doesn't even treat him right. He's out. He'll find someone else that will treat him better. So that's the dilemma with the nice guy. And, like I said, he's continually stuck in the friend zone because he doesn't display the masculine qualities that make a woman primally attracted to him on a primal level. So that's a nice guy. And trying to give stories or illustrations of nice guys I know or I've witnessed in my life. So a nice guy, for example, So I have a friend, a very good friend of mine, and I remember he's a good friend of mine. I'm going to make the story vague because I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but growing up, he was basically a mama's boy, and his parents ran his life and basically speaking controlled every aspect of his life. And I remember when we would go, a group of our friends would go hang out in the city, he'd make excuses about why he doesn't like going to the city. The truth of the matter is his parents would let him go, and we knew that. And he pretended that we didn't know that, but we did know that, and we say that behind his back. Oh, his parents will let him go. Um, but and so also, yeah, he was a nice guy. And basically speaking, he was constantly being friend zoned, or he would date a girl for a while, maybe a month, and the girl would break up with him. And the thing about his dilemma was that he would bring girls by that he liked, and the girls wound up not being attracted and being attracted to one of us, and we'd wind up getting with the girl because the girl wasn't into him. It's not like we stole her; she just wasn't into him. And so yeah, he was just a nice guy. He'd do things like do turn papers for the girl, thinking that that will get the girl. Yeah, and so again, like I said, his dating life was completely abysmal because he just wasn't displaying those manly qualities. But interestingly enough, over the years, he actually, I think, as he got a little old, he was kind of a late bloomer. He started standing up to his parents and started asserting himself, and that translated him to being and carrying himself in a more confident way because his parents basically emasculated him. And as he started carrying himself more confidently, I'm itching all over, but as he started carrying himself more confidently, his dating life started improving, and I started seeing girls really being into him. And so, fast forward, I remember like 2007, I remember sitting with him and his ex-fiance in his house. Now, his ex-fiance had dumped him years earlier because he just wasn't, like I said, a manly man, and she did him quite dirty. She took his engagement ring, didn't give it back. And so, and then I think the guy she left him for, it didn't work out, so she pursued him for years, and he refused to take her back. But now, 2007, the tables were turned. He was a confident guy now, and you can see the change of demeanor. I noticed a change of demeanor that she had towards him from 10 years earlier. Now she was like fawning over him when like 10 years earlier she was treating him like a old shoe that she was just comfortable with and can take or leave. And I remember saying to her, well, she's saying to me, yeah, I changed. I was a bitch in the past. I'm different now. I was like, nah, I don't really. I actually don't think you've changed. I just think the fact that you can't pull the stuff you did back in the day because he will drop you because he has choices now. Or woman, he's confident, and she had nothing to say about that. Then I turned to him and I was like, not for nothing, I have to give you props. You've really stepped up your game. I remember back in the day, you would bring by girls and one of us would get with them. And he said, well, yeah, you guys used to ask these girls all these perverted questions about whether you like anal sex. And I was like, you see, we did that, but we laid everything out on the table about who we were. We were upfront about who we were, our intentions, and we were like, take it or leave it. And a lot of girls respected that. And instead of leaving it, a lot of them took it. And you, on the other hand, you tried to be the nice guy and pretend that you weren't into them when you really were into them. And some of these girls could sense that you were into them, but were pretending not to, and that was kind of creepy. And or they just assume that he's a friend because he's not acting like a guy that is attracted to me or is attracted to any woman, And so I told him, yeah, the reason why we got with this girl is because we were assertive, we were upfront about who we were real. You were being fake, and that's the thing about the nice guys. Another nice guy I knew, I remember, he was attracted to this girl, and the girl had a douchebag boyfriend who cheated on her and was constantly breaking up with her and then getting back together. And this guy will go and buy her daughter gifts and paint her house while she was getting busy with the dude in the bedroom. He'd be painting her house. And friends tried to tell him, dude, this is not the way you get a girl. And he refused to believe this, He thought that being nice enough would make her turn around and see like the error of her ways and error of her boyfriend, but it didn't really work out like that. So, that's the dilemma of the nice guy. Poor nice guy. I just feel sorry for him. The nice guy. I have more stories, but it's just going too long. But anyway, so now we get to the bad boy. The bad boy is the guy who, the bad boy, jerk, douchebag, guy, asshole, whatever you want to call it. I mean, a player. They all fall into one category. To me, I think if there's a little variation, we'll just put them under one category. And the bad boy is a guy who, he's assertive. Up front, he's assertive. He's confident seeming. He takes control, and he basically is a guy that is adventurous, that and that women are attracted to because of these qualities. He's a guy that just the whole thing about pre-selection, that he's like successful woman, so other women attract him because he's successful. He's the guy that has like I guess, an issue or thing going on that a woman just want to come and fix. You know, like women come and want to fix and they want to change him. They think they can change him and convert him to being like the guy that she wants. You know, and the good guy is also a guy that mistreats women. He's a guy that mistreats women, and the guy that disrespects them will cheat on them. And examples are, players. The guy that has like 3 girlfriends, and actually sometimes he's upfront and tells the girl he has a girlfriend, and the girl doesn't care. A lot of girls that go for this guy are girls with daddy issues and girls with low self-esteem. And so, yeah, bad boy. But here's the thing about the bad boy. Up front, the bad boy looks confident and he's assertive, he's in control, he's dominant. That's like on the surface, and that's why women are attracted to him, because they see his qualities in him. But if you actually look at it, the bad boy is not necessarily confident. A lot of that his confidence actually comes from the fact that he gets a lot of girls, because confidence comes from demonstrated performance. But in the genuine, confidence comes from genuine performance. You see yourself doing something competently over a period of time, you build confidence. But here's the thing: he doesn't necessarily have like high self-esteem. A guy who is confident. And also, a lot of his confidence, if you look closer, is actually arrogance. He thinks he's better than people. He thinks you can't tell him anything. Also, the bad boy, he may look in control, but actually he's very controlling. And people who are controlling are controlling because they don't really have control over themselves. Again, insecurity. People who are dominant, or he appears dominant, but actually he's domineering. He tries to dominate the person he's with. Instead of dominating maybe the situation or being in control and dominant, he tries to dominate his partner, domineering. And again, that comes from the fact of him not having control or dominance over his own life. He tries to control external things. He also, like I said, mistreats women because he has probably a lot of anger issues or self-esteem issues, because anybody who mistreats somebody, it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. And of course, like I said, he's the player. And examples of bad boys I've seen in my life. I know this one guy who's been in and out of jail for a good part of his life, but he's so masculine that I've seen women just completely on a primal level just like react to him, like be attracted to him. And he's like the type of guy that will meet a girl one day, she'll move in his house, the next day he'll stay her for the next year, living with her for the next year. Another example of a player or a bad boy, this type of guy, is a guy that I knew a guy like this. He will be dating a girl, he'll meet a girl who goes to a certain college and start dating her, and then spend nights at her dorm. But then he will meet another girl in that same dorm that lives the floor above, and while this girl's hanging out with his friends, he's having sex with a girl directly on the floor above. And the girl knows about the girlfriend. That's the bad boy type. The bad boy type is the guy, I know the guy like this, who basically he will be with his girlfriend in his house, and another girl will be there hanging out with one of his friends. And while his girlfriend is not looking in the other room, he'll be trying to get with the other girl. And the other girl, is totally like gog over him because, he's taken and, he's a player. And it's just like, this is the type of bad boy type, And eventually speaking, a woman who eventually comes to her senses will dump a guy like this because she knows a guy like this is not good for her. So here's the dilemma now. This is all women think that there are. They think it's either the bad boy or the nice guy. And so what happens is, after vacillating between these two guys, they become, like I said, very jaded, like the woman that I had dated like several years back. Also, as it comes to guys, many guys also think that this is the only way you be. You either treat a woman bad, and if you try to treat a woman nice, she'll walk all over you. And in many cases, including my own life, you start off as a nice guy, you see it doesn't work, and then you decide if you can't beat him, join him. And that's what happened with me. The guys I learned how to be successful women that I took from were all players and just mistreated women and just cheated on all their girlfriends and just had 3 girls on the side, and the girls knew about each other. And the girls knew that they had a girlfriend, they didn't care, it made them more attracted to them. So it just kind of, as a young 19, 20-year-old, I just like, this is how you have to be. And so what happens is that you be this way, you start getting girls, and you think this is the way to be, and then you meet a girl that you actually like, and the girl, like I said in the beginning, she's attracted to you because you're unattainable, and you're not clingy, and you just like you're not making the center of your world. But then after a while, she comes to essentially dump you, and either two things happen. You become more jaded and become more of this bad boy now because you're hurt, or you revert back into being the nice guy, you know? Or you have people, and I have another friend of mine good friend of mine, and he told me, saying like me, he was a nice guy, and he said to himself, well, to get girls, you have to be the bad boy. Became the bad boy, and got a lot of girls because of it. But he started to feel guilty, and he started to feel guilty that this is the way I have to be to get girls. I don't want to be this way, so he reverted back into the nice guy. But then when is on his journey now, where he's becoming what I'm going to describe now, just a good guy. And many guys, like I say, they vacillate between these two extremes because they don't even know that the good guy exists. So what is the good guy? The good guy is the guy that has both the desirable qualities of the bad boy and the nice guy. The good guy will treat a woman right, will respect a woman. But like the bad guy, he has boundaries and will not put up with her crap. If she disrespects him, or if she tries to cross his boundaries, he will dump her and move on with his life without batting an eye. The good guy, like the bad boy, also has an abundance mentality. He knows his worth, and therefore he knows that if one girl just happens to mess up or slip up, he'll meet someone else because he knows what he has, he knows what he has to offer, he knows he's an attractive guy, and he'll meet someone else sooner or later. The good guy, so like we see like the bad boy is dominant or appears dominant in the beginning, but then he's shown to be domineering, or it seems in control in the beginning, but is known to be controlling because he comes from an unhealthy place. The good guy is in control and he's dominant because he comes from both healthy places. See, the good guy is the guy that is either, if he doesn't have his life together yet, he's working on getting his life together. And therefore he's learning how to take control of his life and control of himself. And because he's learning to take control of himself, he doesn't try to control what's externally outside of him. He knows he only can control himself. And by controlling himself, best control the situation, meaning like take charge of a situation. Because he's now trying to he's trying to search for his purpose in life and what he's meant on earth to do. He doesn't have to try and dominate anybody else. He's trying to dominate his own life and his own destiny. So he doesn't have to seek to control external factors. Now, whereas the nice guy also is clingy and makes the woman the center of his world, and the bad boy, basically in a narcissistic way, makes himself the center of his world to the detriment of his woman, to the woman's harm. The good guy makes his purpose his center. He makes his purpose, his mission in life the center, or his need to find a mission in his life his center of the world, and everything else falls under that. Therefore, he's not clingy because his purpose comes first, and everything else fits into that. And if it doesn't fit into or conducive into to achieving his purpose, he will drop that person. The good guy also is the guy that it's like a win-win with him. Like, I win and you win as well. Whereas the bad boy, he sees the world as win-lose. One person has to win and the other person has to lose. And the nice guy also either sees it as lose-lose or win-lose. Again, he feels that he loses and the woman has to win all the time because he doesn't feel he's worth anything. The good guy also, he sees a woman as his partner, a woman that he can build a life together with, or build a relationship with. He sees the woman as someone that, instead of someone that competes for the spotlight, they both share the spotlight together. A good guy also, if they have a disagreement, he will basically try to make sure that they both understand each other. In a way, he will stand his ground, but also make the woman feel hurt. And I actually had an experience with that girl I dated in the beginning, because I had over the years learned about this, and I remember having a disagreement with her, and I remember that she was starting to get very hyped up and emotional, and I remember me standing my ground, but also making sure that I understood where she was coming from, and making her know that I knew where she was coming from. And she thanked me later and said that that her nice guy ex-husband would have completely folded like a cheap shirt and totally said, "Oh yeah, honey, you're right," even though she knew that he didn't agree. And the bad boy guy would have been, "No, bitch, why you tripping, man? Why you acting all crazy?" And she admitted, yeah, I was being kind of emotional, but she said, you didn't make me feel wrong for that. And I, do all my fairness, try to cultivate being a good guy. And a good guy, like I said, he doesn't try to belittle his woman. He tries to make sure that they both understand each other and they both feel heard in the relationship. The good guy also is not afraid to apologize and apologize, because he knows that if he's wrong, he's wrong. What will it do him to as a guy who's serious about growing and becoming a better, stronger version of himself? What benefit will it do him to refuse to admit that he is wrong? If he's wrong, he'll say he's wrong. Whereas the bad boy will refuse, because of it will hurt his ego, refuse to ever admit he's wrong. And the good guy, or the nice guy, apologizes for his existence and just apologizes because he's afraid that the woman will leave him and he doesn't want conflict and he can't assert himself or assert his individuality. What else? So, yeah, the good guy, basically, he looks out for himself, but his looking out for himself is not to the detriment to the other person. The good guy, basically, if you compare the three different types, the bad boy, the good guy, and the nice guy puts a woman on a pedestal and worships her. Mind you now, women nobody wants to be put on a pedestal because nobody wants unrealistic expectations placed on them. They're hard to live by, and you kind of feel like self-conscious that, well, you're going to fail this person. And I don't want to be put on a pedestal. And the nice guy has himself on the pedestal. The bad boy puts himself on the pedestal and expects a woman to worship him. But the good guy actually stands on this pedestal, and to the worthy woman, the woman he feels worthy of his time, will invite her to stand on his pedestal so she can take a look and experience his dreams, his desires, his gifts, his outlook on life, his passions. And, if he finds her worthy of the pedestal that he's standing on, that he invited her on, both of them will build a pedestal together that they both can enjoy and admire and bask and be nurtured by. That is the good guy. And an example of a good guy, I have a very good friend of mine, and I'm glad to be in company because iron sharpens iron. He helps make me a better person. I hope make him a better person. But so he's a guy. He's a good guy. He treats women right. He's an upright guy. He's very moral and all that, and lives by a code of ethics, and he's very confident. And women have told him several times in the past that they feel uncomfortable around him because they feel that if they step out of line, he will drop them. And he's like, yeah. He doesn't put up with being mistreated or just being disrespected. And I've seen it. He will coldly just drop somebody if she disrespects him or acts in a way that he knows is just not really conducive to his peace of mind in a relationship. And actually, he's kind of a little cold about it, actually. But the point of the matter is, he's a good guy. He treats women well, but women know not to cross the line with him. So there is a possibility of being treating women right and still having women be into you. And an example of him being a good guy was, I remember him telling me a story about a woman that he knew, that he had met, and they were both mutually attracted to one another. And this woman had recently broken off an engagement, I think, and she had decided that she was going to be single for a year. But then she met this guy, and both of them, started hanging out. But nothing really ever happened. And he said to her, after thinking about it, because, if he was with her after she broke up her engagement, he's a rebound. And he basically said to her, listen, I know you just broke up your engagement. Stick to your year of being by yourself so you can heal and can grow and learn from yourself, Plus, he said he doesn't want to be with someone, doesn't want to be a rebound. He wants to be with someone who wants to be with him, not running from someone who used to be someone's comfort. So he made it a win-win situation. He won because he's not going to be with someone to be a rebound, and she wins because she gets to heal and be single for a while and grow and learn. And the bad boy would have probably been with her, got with her anyway because he thinks about himself and he just wants to take advantage of the situation. Probably get some sex. The nice guy would be with her because he's afraid he wouldn't attract anybody else. And he has such a scarcity mentality that, he's like, oh, wow, if I don't get this opportunity now, I'm never going to get another opportunity with another woman again. So that is, example of a good guy. I try to cultivate it in my life. About maybe, what was this, June, I was involved with a woman. I was involved with her, and what happened? Yeah, after the third date with her, I was just like, hell no. I mean, this woman was actually an amazing woman. She was very intelligent, very feminine, very pretty. Great to talk to. I love talking to her. But after the third date, I just saw this going the way that I said to myself, being with her, I'm gonna enjoy less than being single. And for me to commit to a woman, I have to enjoy it just as well or more than being single. And so my initial thought was just to never contact her again. But then I asked a couple of my female friends and my female friends, and they said to me, "Yo, listen, just don't do that. I hate when guys do that. If you haven't been involved in long enough, to just send her a text and just tell her, that you just don't want to take this any further." So I did. I started the text very gracefully. I told her great qualities because she is an amazing woman, very beautiful, very feminine. But I just told her why we couldn't be together. I just told her that I saw the relationship being something as a us against me against you constantly, rather than us being partners, and I wanted a partner, not a competitor. And I also told her other reasons that I felt. And then I ended it with telling her that, she's an amazing woman, because she really is. And I meant that from the bottom of my heart, but I just couldn't be with her. And the girl thanked me for it. But I think the nice guy would have completely just put up with it again, because he doesn't see himself worth being treated properly. And the bad boy the bad boy just probably would have never called her again, or probably would have tried to be with her and completely verbally abuse her for being who she was. And none of those are viable options for me. So I did that, and I actually sent the text to one of my female friends before I texted her, and she said, "That's a very good text. Send it." So again, that's what I try to cultivate as being a good guy. Now, the thing about good guys, the reason why that you don't see too many good guys out there, because it's kind of hard to be a good guy. Good guys are essentially basically either recovering nice guys or recovering bad boys. So to now be a good guy, it takes you having to work on yourself, work on your issues, work on your pain, work on your childhood issues that made you into a nice guy or a bad boy. It takes being introspective and seeing things about yourself you don't like. It takes being comparing or taking constructive criticism or things you don't like about what past girls have told you, and now working yourself to become a better person to give the woman a good experience. Because you see, a good guy wants to make a woman better off than he met her. He wants to give value as a person. He seeks now to see how to give value to his life. But he also asks himself, is this woman worthy of my value that I have to give? But like I said, we don't see too many good guys out there because, again, it takes work to be a good guy. It takes work, it takes effort to be above everybody else. And most people don't want to do the work. So that's why we see the either two undesirable options of the nice guy or the jerk. So, yeah. But here's the other thing, ladies. You're not entitled to be with a good guy if you're not a good woman yourself. I mean, to attract better, you have to be better. So just because you have two breasts and a vagina doesn't automatically attract or entitle you to be with someone who's a good guy, who's put hours and probably put thousands of dollars into being a better person than who he's been in the past. So a good guy is going to expect you to bring something to the table beyond your physical beauty. And many good guys, because they put work on yourself, they can smell the BS. Trust me. And if they see you're not bringing anything to the table, they will either just see you for a short-term situation or not even want to be with you themselves and not even want to waste their time. So for you to get with a guy who's of high caliber, you have to be high caliber yourself. You have to work on yourself. As a Bible phrase, do not be unequally yoked. A good guy who's working on himself and working on his issues is not going to be with somebody who's a complete mess and just wants to be with a guy just because she doesn't want to be single or afraid of being single. And a good guy, like I said, he will not put up with nonsense and being mistreated or being disrespected. Because what happens a lot of time, women who are not ready to be with a good guy, they'll see him treating her nice, and they'll take him to be some type of bitch, and they'll freaking try and like walk all over him or walk away. And the guy's like, will look at that. A good guy will look at that and say, oh my gosh, she's a mess, and completely walk off. And now the woman will be shocked that because a nice guy will probably try and grovel after her and try and get her back, but the good guy will be like, screw this, I don't need this, and walk off. And that's when she starts to see, oh, this guy is different. And that's when she realizes, oh, I messed up. Or if you're not ready for this type of good guy, you'll sabotage it because you see this guy has his act together, and you feel like you're not worthy of being with a guy like that, so you find some way to sabotage it, and just then live with regret about the fact that, you know, there was a guy one time, he had his stuff together, he treated me right, but he put his foot down, and I messed up. And then you wind up settling for someone, if you don't work on yourself, you wind up settling for someone that you're able to attract in your level, and you just wind up having a mediocre or subpar relationship, marriage, or whatever. So, yeah, it pays to get with this good guy. Probably why you're not finding him now is because you're not a good woman, or you, again, like I said, you don't know this good guy exists. And all your girlfriends date bad boys or nice guys, and everybody around you dates bad boys and nice guys, and you don't know that there's a guy cut above the rest. Now, for guys, if you want to attract a high caliber quality woman, you have to develop into this type of guy, being the good guy. You have to decide what type of woman and know what type of woman you want, and then look to yourself and ask yourself if this woman wants to be with you. And if the answer is no, you have your work cut out for you. You're not entitled to be with a great woman if you're not a great guy. So it also takes, like I said, it takes work to be a good guy. Hey, I've been the nice guy before. I've been the bad or the player. I don't think I was going to say a bad boy, but I've been the player before who was angry at women and disrespected women, and had the phrase, "Oh, you know, bitches ain't shit," and "don't trust bitches," and, you know, just stupidity of my youth, you know. But as I grew older, I try to cultivate being the good guy. Am I perfect? No. Do I have issues? No. I mean, yes, I do have issues, but I try to be aware of them, and I'm upfront about my insecurities and my issues, and but I try to cultivate being a good guy and give a woman the best of both worlds. Is there anything else I have to say? Because I don't want to stop this video and then remember that I've left out something important and just have to be a bad boy now. But anyway, so I think this is it. I've said my piece. Ladies, try and be the type of woman that will attract the good guy, and also know that there is the good guy out there that combines the best of both worlds of the bad boy and the nice guy. And dudes, yes, you don't have to vacillate between being the nice guy or the bad boy. You have another choice. You can treat a woman right and still have her want to be with you. Another thing I want to say about the good guy is that because, you know, nice guys complain about them being able to get girls and women not liking the nice guys. I never met a good guy who complains about being able to get girls. Good guys, we have no problem getting girls. It's pretty easy because women see that we're cut above the rest. When they speak to us and talk to us, they know there's something different about us. Like I said, even with all my mess, I'm not perfect, man. You know, I'm not pretending to be. But even all my mess and my friends' mess, women know that they're talking to someone different. And these dudes, again, are looking at a woman and be like, okay, how can this woman add to my life? He knows how he can add to her life, but he's like, how can this woman add to my life? And like I said, they know how to treat a woman right, but they have to look to see if a woman is worthy of him being with her. Whereas like the nice guy automatically just wants to like find out what he can get out of being with the woman. Like, you know, he thinks about, oh, you know, she's pretty, blah, 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 you know, and yeah, like kind of the night, but yeah, he tries to see like, I like the bad boy, like he's kind of selfish. He kind of like wants to think about not what value he has to offer, but like, you know, what the value the woman has to offer him or what the woman has to offer him. And so the good guy knows his value and knows what he has to give and exudes the confidence. He's not clingy, he's not needy. And so therefore, like I said, if you decide to be the good guy, you're not going to have a problem getting girls. It's not the issue. If you're not with the girl now, it's because either you don't want to be or you're not being presented the ones that you want to be with. So anyway, I hope all this helped and hope this enlightens everybody. Sorry this went a little long, but hey, you know, it happens. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at TheViableAlt, TheViableAlt. And again, if you want to read more on my site, go to www.theviablealternative.com. And please like this video. Also, if you want to subscribe, click on subscribe. And I wish everybody well. If you are with a good guy or a great woman, congratulations to you. If you're not, then you have some thinking to do in your life. Why settle? There's something better out there. There's a viable alternative. Anyway, this is the viable alternative. God bless everyone. Take care. Done.